If you love a tasty tequila cocktail, but prefer your cocktails boozy and stirred instead of citrusy and refreshing, then today's episode is just for you. Welcome to Cocktail Limelight. I'm your host, Eric Castro, and today we're going to be diving into 3 stirred cocktails made with tequila. Now, these are 3 of my original cocktails, and I'm really hoping that you enjoy them, particularly if you're the type of person that prefers Manhattans and Old Fashions over Collinses and Sours. Now, when it comes to stirred whiskey cocktails or stirred gin cocktails, the cocktail pantheon runs deep with over 100 years worth of cocktails in those categories. Unfortunately, when it comes to stirred tequila drinks or just agave drinks in general, you generally don't have that wide of a variety, at least not one that spans back that far. However, in today's craft cocktail world, so many people love agave spirits, not only because they're so delicious, but they can be so complex when mixed well into a drink. Which is part of the reason why I thought today's episode was so important, because I want folks out there who prefer their drinks to be stirred to have a few more options, especially in the agave category. Now, the first cocktail we're going to be making is named after one of my favorite video games, and it's called GUNMAN CLIVE. The reason why I named it that is because I felt like the flavors in the cocktail are very evocative of the Old West, which is the same setting in which the video game takes place. Now, to make one, first we start out with 1 dash of Scrappy's limited edition Polite Provisions and Amori Margot bitters. Next we add a 1/4 ounce Crème de Cacao, along with 3/4 ounce Sweet Vermouth. Lastly, we're going to add 2 ounces of Tequila Reposado. Next, we're going to add some ice and stir. Before straining over ice into a chilled double old fashioned. Now it's time to garnish your cocktail with the lemon twist. And there you have it, folks, the GUNMAN CLIVE. In one sip, I think you'll agree, it's of a higher caliber. Cheers. Now, this next cocktail is an agave accented riff on the Negroni, and it's called the Royal Promise, and a bit more soft and delicate than the more traditional Negroni. To make one, first we start out with 1 ounce of Cocchi Rosa, followed up with 1 ounce of Campari. Lastly, we're going to be adding 1 ounce of Tequila Blanco. Now it's time to add some ice to my mixing glass before I give it a stir. Now that I'm all done stirring, let's go ahead and strain this over ice in a chilled double old fashioned. But before it's ready to go, let's go ahead and garnish it with the lemon twist. Now there you have it, folks, the Royal Promise, a before dinner cocktail that's rich with the flavors of agave and Italian aperitivo. Cheers. This, for real, is like probably one of my favorite cocktails that I've ever come up with, because it managed to do so much with only 3 ingredients, all at equal parts. Cheers. Now, this last cocktail we're going to be making, I almost feel guilty about showcasing it for all of you. And here's why. It might be a little bit silly, but follow my train of thought and it might make sense. This cocktail that I've come up with called the Pale Rider is almost identical to another drink that I came up with years ago called the Mance Raider. On paper, they are almost essentially the same drink, except I changed the style of vermouth and I changed the garnish, which explains why I kind of feel guilty about calling it a different drink. Yet at the same time, I'm still proud of being able to come up with a completely different flavor profile by just shifting a couple of variables, such as the style of aromatized wine and the citrus that was being used for garnish. Because if you were to taste them side by side, they are completely different, which in a way is actually a perfect example of how cocktails can vary widely just by small and minute changes. But regardless, it's still a cocktail that I want to showcase because I have a feeling that you're going to enjoy it, especially if you love the mixture of tequila with mezcal. To make a Pale Rider, first we start out with 2 dashes of Angostura Bitters, followed up with 2 dashes of orange bitters. Then we add a ½ ounce of dry vermouth, followed by a ½ ounce of Cointreau. Next, we're gonna be doing a ½ ounce of Mezcal, along with an 1.5 ounces of Tequila Reposado. Now that I have all the ingredients in the mixing vessel, I'm just gonna add some ice and give it a stir. Now that we're done stirring, we're gonna pour this one over ice in a chill double old fashioned, just like the 2 before. Now for the garnish, we're gonna finish the drink with a freshly peeled orange twist. Now there you have it, folks, the Pale Rider, a citrusy and herbaceous cocktail that showcases all the flavors of agave, but within the format of a stirred cocktail. Cheers. And there you have it, folks. 3 stirred cocktails, all in different styles, suiting different purposes, but are still stirred and perfect for those folks who prefer their agave cocktails spirit forward and boozy. Now, are there any other spirit categories out there that you'd like to be showcased on a future episode of Cocktail Limelight? If so, leave in the comments down below, and who knows, maybe they'll be featured in a future episode. But with that said, be sure to muddle that like and subscribe button, and if you'd like to dive deeper into the world of craft cocktails, be sure to check out the Bartender Large podcast, which I host on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else where quality podcasts are found. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.